Chapter 1-4
Eiji, Digimon are alive,
Ryusenji had said. Well, it would be a lot of fun if Digimon were really alive, Eiji said. There are fanatics out there who keep Digimon like digital pets, and then there are collectors like you. But for codecrackers like me, Digimon are like a useful AI tool. For Eiji, Digimon are valuable work tools. He favored using Tyrannomon, a relatively common capture in the digital world, which meant they could often be traded on Grimm. So when and where are you going to have this Digimon Land thing?
It's been shelved for good.
Ryusenji let out a sigh of disappointment. Oh dear.
Realistically, it was hard to enforce. That's why the digital world remains a secret to mankind.
At Ryusenji's words, Eiji flashed back to the images of the plane crash that he had just witnessed. Yeah, I guess it would be, since there are people out there who use Digimon for crimes. People in the same business as me, although they're more of the nasty sort. While codecrackers are generally in the gray zone, there are some even among them who weren't completely morally bereft, and some who were. There were some who were gray, but close to white. Then there were those who were gray, but close to black. Some of them weren't so bad when you talked to them, while others were truly crazy, or flat out criminals, or the enemy of all mankind. Anyway, network failures, information theft through unauthorized access, and cyber terrorism had been occurring frequently here and there in recent years. And Digimon used as AI tools actually had a lot to do with it. Like what Eiji had seen in that video, there was actually an incident of a terrorist using a Digimon to bring down an airplane. That information, of course, had not been made public. The general public did not know about Digimon or the digital world. World leaders and international organizations were quick to cover up their existence. Besides, it would become too great a scandal if characters at a theme park were used by criminals for acts of cyber terrorism. Just imagine.
If the public found out about the digital world and Digimon, it would lead to revealing to the entire world the existence of Digimon crimes,
Ryusenji said.
What do you think would happen if we did that?
Mass chaos?
Exactly.
The media would probably come up with sensational titles for clickbait, like how Digimon were invaders from another world or something. The easiest and simplest conclusion that could be drawn from such an emotional state would be that the digital world and Digimon are evil.
A majority of mankind does not know yet about the digital world. Even if they did, they would not understand it.
Ryusenji's words sounded genius and profound, and they were difficult for Eiji to understand.
They would not understand that there lies another world beyond the network that is different from our world, and that Digimon are actually alive.
Even if they knew about it, they would not understand it. Professor Ryusenji. Eiji felt as though those words had been said to him as a code cracker, as someone who used Digimon for his first job in the digital world. Digimon are living creatures.
Crackerfang, Eiji-kun, don't you want to know about the real world and the digital world? The truth of the two worlds. Don't you want to see what lies on the other side of it?
Well, of course I would. Eiji was immediately excited. I mean, I know nothing about it. The digital world to me is nothing but the information on the black and white screen of my digital dock. But the world that you're seeing, the world that you saw, Professor, it's different, isn't it? Like what I saw in that video. The sea of networks, the real world, and the digital world. A glimpse of that world that lay beyond the static.
Do you know why that video in D4 is top secret?
Ryusenji asked.
Why it's kept secret from the public?
Because AG had a flash of insight. It's real? It wasn't a fake promotional video, but an actual video of the digital world?
Yes. That video was AI generated by our observational data and composited as an imagery of the true digital world. And the Digimon really do live there, in the digital world. Turns out that the real extraterrestrials came from our digital network, not from outer space.
Ryusenji looked into AG's eyes. What he spoke of wasn't a metaphor or an abstract way of looking at things.
Digimon are alive.
AG looked at the hobolized Madoki Betamon. It was alive. If that was the case, then the Tyrannomon that he'd been using as an AI tool was also alive? And all the other Digimon too?
To see firsthand,
Ryusenji said gravely.
With my own eyes, the natural digital world and the Digimon in their own habitat. To see the digital world directly with all of my 5 human senses, and not through virtual monitors or observational data. To break the constraints between the real world and the digital world. To experience it as it actually is. That is what I, Tomonori Ryusenji, have devoted my life to researching. Everything I do, and has been done, for the sake of D4.
The data transfer of Madoki Betamon was finally complete. Ryusenji ejected AG's Digimon dock from the device, and picked it up with his fingers to peer at it. Ah, thanks. AG extended his hand. Ryusenji tossed the Digimon dock aside. What? Without any time to react, AG slid across the ground and intercepted the Digimon dock before it fell into the trash can. What was that for, Professor? He'd leapt forward so vigorously that he'd face-planted straight into the trash can. AG had made this dock from used parts. Even though it was mostly junk, it still cost him a lot of money.
There was an error in the memory.
Seriously? Ryusenji is a Digimon collector, so he was more careful than most about the condition of his data.
You shouldn't use that outdated equipment, especially if you're working a job for me. That almost destroyed Madoki Betamon's data.
Still, you didn't have to throw it away. Freelance code crackers aren't exactly swimming in money like big corporations are. Professor, I can't pay for everything out of pocket, or ring up a bill or use all the high-spec equipment that's here whenever I want. Hello? AG was puzzled. Ryusenji's response was a little strange, but he was, after all, a genius scientist of the highest caliber in Japan. He could be forgiven for coming across as a bit eccentric.
I apologize for that. But, well, that makes for perfect timing. Hold out your arm.
Huh? AG didn't know how the timing was perfect, but he did as he was told. Ryusenji attached something to AG's left wrist. AG swallowed hard. When had he last felt something like this? When his parents had bought him a new video game console as a kid? When he'd gotten his first smartphone? No. This was 1,000 times greater than that. He felt as if his entire world was expanding just by wearing this thing.
It's yours.
It was a wristwatch-like gadget. Is this Abaddon Electronics state-of-the-art Digimon dock? And a smartwatch type? AG felt like jumping up and down and doing cartwheels. AE's products were easy to modify into Digimon docks, and thus were highly regarded among code crackers. And this was a genuine AE product. Because it involved Digimon, it was a trade secret. A Digimon linker.
This is the prototype of a product that I've been working on.
Professor Ryusenji, I already knew this about you, but you are amazing. On Eiji's arm, the wristwatch Digimon dock began to set itself up automatically.
Well, I am also the technical director of the Digimon Dock division. This device has a biometric vital sensor, so it can only be used by you, the person to whom it's registered.
Oh, so it's made for me?
It has a medical device class sensor that records pulse, blood pressure, respiration, body temperature, and so on. And it comes with a 24-hour medical support system via our life support.
I'm about to get so healthy. Eiji responded enthusiastically.
It also has a hololization function. Normally, Digimon hololization is only allowed at DDL and a few other authorized facilities. But this is a special exception.
It was all special. Special. He was being given special treatment. But you're giving me the prototype. Are you sure? There must be some kind of catch.
Relax. This is simply a gift from me to you.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing.
Yep. I knew there was a catch. I'm starting to catch on to what kind of person you are, Professor. While he said that jokingly, Eiji had no intention of parting with this smartwatch Digimon dock. He wanted it. The Digimon Linker had functions that were, without exaggeration, in a different league. Even leagues from Eiji's do-it-yourself dock.
I want to see what Crackerfang can do with it in the next job that I have for you.
I'll do it.
Well, that was fast. Good. That's what I like about you.
Ryu Senji took Eiji's arm and pressed a switch on one side of the Digimon Linker. The screen glowed faintly. A mysterious flame seemed to flicker from the clock screen. Lucamon. Child level. Magical beast type. Virus species. A Digimon that he had never seen before sat there on the color screen. Eiji squinted. A puppy? A dog? After receiving the new job request from Professor Ryu Senji, Eiji passed through the gate alone and returned to the reception hall on the first floor. Break the constraints between the real world and the digital world, huh? The hololized tricolor object was back in the center of the hall. Oh, hello again! Hatsune spoke up at the reception desk. Do I return my pass here? You can put it here, thank you. Eiji gave her back his pass. Hatsune noticed the device on his arm. Oh, this? Professor Ryu Senji gave it to me. Do you know what it is? It's a Digimon dock. Eiji showed off his new smartwatch gadget to Hatsune. Hatsune looked around quickly and then whispered back. Isn't that the new secret model? She seemed to be well informed of company rumors. Maybe that was the perk of her position as a receptionist. It's a prototype, though. I'm just doing a test run. Oh wow, that Professor Ryu Senji asked you to test it out? He must really trust you. Hatsune seemed to be genuinely surprised, rather than buttering him up. I wonder. I mean, do you really think so? Absolutely. I mean, despite his appearance, Professor Ryu Senji is so... Hatsune lowered her voice. He can be a bit difficult to work with. Oh, yeah, he is a peculiar one, Eiji said, trying not to laugh. Hatsune's attitude towards him was completely different from when he first saw her. But that wasn't a bad thing. I'll see you later! Oh, Nakasumi-san. You can call me Eiji. Then you can call me Hatsune-chan or Hatsune-ichi. Whatever you want. So, about your entry form, I noticed that you left out your occupation. If you don't mind me asking, what should I put there? Hatsune looked at him expectantly and fidgeted. My occupation? Eiji thought about it. Being a freelancer wasn't exactly an occupation. It just meant that he had no established job. I'm Eiji Nakasumi, a code cracker. Hatsune's reaction was the most doubtful that he'd seen her all day.